This podcast features Dr. Anumitra Mirti. She is the founder and lead environmental strategist of a company called Environmental Resilience Planning. Essentially, they help organizations to lower their costs and raise the profits by helping them to embed sustainable and circular practices into their business model. She has a PhD in climate resilience, and she's worked with organizations such as Lake Macquarie City Council and the Department of Environment, Infrastructure, and Planning. She has an amazing fire in her belly and completed her PhD as a single mother of 2 young daughters. She has an exceptional family values and also a strong desire to make a contribution to humanity. Now over to Dr. Anumitra.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, Anumitra. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Thank you for.
Good afternoon.
How are you? How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yes, brilliant day. Good start of a day, and yeah, it's 3 p.m. in Australia at the moment, so just getting ready for the afternoon. Being to change my hat into my mum hat.
Yeah, we have many hats. So anyway, the reason why we are here together is to get to know you better and for the members to get to know you more. So my first question is, yes, who is Anumitra?
Funny, Anumitra is not a very common Fiji Indian name, and every time I have to tell people, they call me all sorts of things, and then they eventually get to it. Anu in Sanskrit means atom, the starting of everything, and Mitra in Hindi or in Sanskrit means friendly. So I used to just say, "Oh, you'll remember me because I'm a friendly atom."
Oh, that's amazing! Yeah, Anumitra, yes.
But yeah, Anumitra kind of means the coming together. In scientific terms, it means coming together of ideas, or from the beginning to the amalgamation of all the little atoms coming together to form something, right? And that's how I see who I am. I am an enabler. I'm a person who comes up with ideas and brings it together. And the reality is, I can't do it all. I've got great ideas, but I can't do it on my own. And I'm a person who I'm very strategic, and I'm a systems thinker. So I can see how all the little dots join together. And I need the right people behind me to help me get there. I believe I'm a positivist. And so having that positive attitude on a daily basis, no matter what the circumstances are. And I wasn't always positive, I suppose. But I guess my life lessons and the way I have chosen to live my life has given me that strength, and that's my foundation. And so when I now, as me, Anumitra, go out there, I try to make a difference in whatever I do, whether it's being a mum, whether it's being a colleague or amongst friends. I try to install that positivity across and help people out. The biggest thing is for me humanity, and I think end of the day, if we losing out on not understanding little things, how it all happens, and connecting to the nature and connecting to the people, then we've completely lost the true purpose of life. And it begins with you. So if you don't understand yourself, you cannot understand the other. So yeah, that's in a nutshell who I am on a personal note.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's very, very profound that you have shared. On the other side, I just want to ask you, how did you start, and what do you do, and what is it? How does it connect to what you stand for right now?
So that was me, the personal Anumitra, the Anumitra that's more professional note. I started my journey in the environmental space, did my undergrad, and my parents back then in Fiji were very, very concerned. What am I going to do? What sort of jobs I'm going to have? because everyone wants, and I'm from an Indian family, so everyone wants you to see a doctor, lawyer, or teacher, or some sort of a profession that is known. Environmentalists, people don't know what that means. And so I was lucky enough, as I was studying, I did through correspondence most of the time because I couldn't afford it, so I had to find a job. I was working and studying most of my life. And I was fortunate enough to get some of the best jobs in my life. So I started my career with the national Fiji government as a project officer on the Kyoto Protocol implementation. And that's when the biggest Kyoto Protocol amendment had come through. Signatory countries were putting in legislation and implementation of the banning of the CFC. So that was my starting point, and that was it. That was hit the ground running for me from there on. Moving on, I guess, I wanted to really understand how do you really better manage the environment, because I could see there was lots of problems. And I realized that economic value matters. So I went and did my master's in environmental economics at ANU. Gave me really good insights and tools to really understand how do you actually put a dollar value to a non-econometric commodity. But of course, following that, I guess I started the passion to really make a difference in an intergenerational space and an integrated planning space, I guess. And I suppose when you come from an island country that is sort of, always in a developing phase, and climate change is so real in Fiji and other Pacific Island countries. I've worked in the Pacific. Traveled around the 18 island countries, and so I saw a lot was broken. When I say broken, in terms of the town planning, in terms of the societal improvements and changes and climate impact coming in, and how people are planning. So I wanted to understand the built environment. So my PhD focused on climate change resilience to infrastructure, built infrastructure. And then academia, I was there for nearly 8 years, and I just didn't get that, I realized it's just writing papers and doing research, and I'm not able to do any real impact on ground. So I left that. In Australia, we have got the 3 tiers of government, and I thought the local government is really connected with the people. Because resilience is so misinterpreted, but resilience is about people. And hence I came and joined a local government, became a public service servant. Whilst there, my pace at which I wanted to operate and the things I wanted to bring in obviously was a major hindrance. The bureaucratic system is such a roadblock to progress and innovation. 5 years on, and then I took a redundancy and decided this is the only time. If I don't do it now, I'll never do it, and started my business. So my business is called Environmental Resilience Planning, and I wanted to represent the whole raft of issues, not just climate change, sustainability, circularity, but there's a lot of different things that needs to be factored into our thinking and planning. So that's why I picked a very common acronym, ERP, which is like enterprise in IT world. It's a very common thing. But the environmental resilience planning is about climate resilience, helping clients to build their capabilities for understanding climate risks and embedding them into their planning, design, delivery. Sustainability aspects, so from their SDG targets, performance, doing the strategic roadmap, or embedding circularity. How do they need to rethink their business model to embed circularity into their blueprint? So yeah, that's what this business is about. And I'm only just started in May this year. Registered the business in May, so I haven't really finished that far, but I guess June, July, August, September, October, 5 months time frame, I have had some really good experience. 2 major clients, and I met so many amazing people in these 5 months. Amazing networks. And that's where I met one of the projects that I'm working on. Through that, I met so many people who sort of introduced me to Vlad. And when I met Vlad, he invited me to Symphony 7 event.
Yes.
And blown away by this whole thing that I had no idea about. There's so many great minds, great people. And then had a one-to-one with Anthony, and he asked me a few things, and it's just like, I didn't realize that there was this opportunity that I had to network with so many like-minded people. So that's what brought me to Symphony 7. And when he proposed to become a member, I didn't even think twice to become one. And here I am.
Wow. Yeah, actually this, thank you for sharing. That is really one of the ingredients of Symphony 7, the amazing connections and people that, we met here in the community, having the same vision of sincerely having major actions for change, for better world. So I'm very curious about what you said about resilience, Anumitra. What is resilience to you? You mentioned there is a certain meaning. So what does it mean for you, resilience?
So the terminology, you know how sustainability at one point was this buzzword, right? People come up with things and they think, and then they start implementing it in their own different ways. Similarly, resilience sort of took center stage, I think, around 2013, 14, and it sort of just has grown big and become big ever since then. Resilience theory or the principles come from medical science, but the father of the resilience theory in Canada, Hal, and he looked at the mathematical approach to the systems thinking of how, how the system changes over time and what's happening in the natural system. So that's why when people talk about regenerative, people talk about restorative or transition, all that, it's all part and parcel of this whole natural system of continuously changing. And the elder one's here. Kids are coming home from school. So resilience is really not a end product. So people say, we want to build resilient roads, we want to build resilient cities. There's no such thing as a end item when it comes to resilience. Resilience is an ongoing process. Yes. Because we live in the nature, and the nature is constantly the environment. Everything's constantly changing. The change is inevitable. You can't stop change. Change is happening. What you need to do is become part of the change. And let it facilitate. Of course, there is some change which is negative and has a negative impact. So there's this concept of change that you need to facilitate the change. If you're building on a ground, say for instance, if you're building a road today, and you're building because of the current context of it, right? You're building on a rock bed, or whatever the situation of the site is, but in the long term, that site might be affected by the changing climate, changing weather patterns, changing demography in that space, more population coming into, so the road is not able to take that load anymore. Yes. Simple example. Yes. So it's about incorporating that thinking approach. And so doesn't mean that you have built something now, you can't rethink its design or change the way it should be in the future. It's really understanding the future risks and impacts and embedding that thinking. Because when you're doing infrastructure planning, you're doing infrastructure that is to last for 100 years, right? Not to be next 20. So you don't want to, whether you're a council, whether you're a company, if you're building something, you're building a bridge, you don't want the big bridge to collapse every second year. You want it to last forever, right? Yes. So that's why those sort of strength and long-term thinking needs to be embedded. And the way nature works is nature says, if there's a shock, there's a stress to the system will break and it'll rebuild itself. Likewise, we're trying to apply that in the context of learning, in the context of building infrastructure, in the context of human, how the humans are changing, the relationships, the mental health, all that. The same principles apply. So for me, coming back to that question you asked me in the beginning, what does it mean to me? Yes. Resilience is for people, by the people, with the people. No matter what you do or how you do it, it applies from the people concept perspective. So that's why my PhD focused on the socioeconomic aspect of resilience, because it's not something that's outside. It's something that you embed in the way we human society. It's about the betterment of the human society for me.
I love that. So you're saying that it's all about the people now, Anumitra.
Yeah.
What insight can you share to us as human beings, really? How we can make this world a better place. What is a certain piece of advice that you can share to everyone as human beings so we can move this world to a better place altogether?
Good question. I guess the first thing I would ever say to anyone as my kids is, don't point the finger to anybody else, because the three fingers are pointing at you. If you become the better person, then you can help others around you. If you're a lit candle, then you can light other candles. Yep. If you're not lit, you can't light others. So be that lit candle, be that person who is grounded and values others and values others' opinions. I think that's my bottom line. If you can't be a human, you can't. People are forgetting to be human, and that's the first thing. But don't think you can do everything on your own. You join hands with the like-minded and make the difference. If you want to make the difference, make an effort, take a step, work towards, and find the right people to work with you. And that's why when I talked to Anne, I said, it's not coincident that I joined the network. It's not coincident that I met you guys. It's realistically the right timing. When the timing is right, everything happens at that. And even though we all are advocating for the one purpose of making this Earth a better place, because there's no planet B. But the reality is there are bigger forces beyond us. The planet is in the right place. It's moving at this right speed. It's spinning at the right speed of 1,600 kilometers per mile or hour. The other planets are not hitting us. There's asteroids not coming. Everything is in the right place. So trust that. Trust the universe. Trust the energies that are around you, because there's so much more beyond us. We don't know that. And I guess for me, the most important thing in my life is to ground myself, to be centered, and I meditate every day, and so I find my purpose through that. I guess that makes me a better human being.
Wow. Yes, I totally can resonate with that, Anumitra. Being centered, knowing yourself, into your own intuition, trusting the, higher, energy. Self. And
yes,
these are all coming forth to people around.
Yes.
Around globally. And I'm very happy also that you are with Symphony 7, because, the people like you, who have this kind of elevated consciousness, it's very, very important in a way that you see a much higher perspective in the way that you do and the way that you think. Yeah, I love it.
And because it makes sense. It just makes sense, because whatever we have been doing hasn't worked. Whatever we've been doing, we've made poor decisions, and we can see the consequences of those things happening now. And so it's time to reflect, time to make that conscious decisions. And it's about being conscious of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Yes. And when you align with the right mind, like-minded, with the similar frequency of operation and conscious, then the real thing actually unfolds. Things happen when you bring that right energy. So I think that's what Symphony 7 is doing. It's bringing the right people, the like-minded people, the right knowledge base, the energy level. Everyone wants to move faster. Everyone wants to see change. Everyone wants to do things. And that's what coming from all our different sectors, I can 100% guarantee most of us have experienced that roadblocks, that stagnation, that poor leadership, all those kind of things. Yes. So I made a conscious choice when I left my last job that this is it. I'm never going to choose a leader to work with who is so poor in its leadership, you know, poor leadership. I don't want to work for a poor leader. I put that out into the universe. If I can't do the job myself, I will not join anyone to deliver the purpose that I serve. And so that was a promise to myself. And as soon as I did that, I could see lots of doors opening, lots of, you know, things happening around me. And I think it's my learning in this lifetime. And I had to come to that point consciously, and hence the result, whatever happens in the future is going to be, that pathway will open.
Thank you. So before we end this interview, Anumitra, for those people who want to get to contact you or to connect with you, where is the best way to do that?
I'm in LinkedIn. I'm definitely, that's my most, you know, that's the only social media that I'm accessible through. I don't do much Twitter. I only use Twitter for work purpose. And I mean, you can connect me on Twitter, but I haven't been really very active there. But absolutely email me, reach out. If there's anything that I can assist with and do, I'm happy to, you know, be part of it. Absolutely. I think I've given my email address and everything to Symphony 7. So yes, and my website is currently down. I'm trying to fix it quickly by the end of this week. So that's another source where you can find me. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So yes, and I highly encourage you also to go to the members portal, and you know, all the profiles will be there. We'll be posting.
Oh yes.
Soon. All right.
Yep. It's in my list to do.
That's amazing. Okay, thank you, Anumitra, for your time, and I really had a lovely, you know, always interview and conversations with you. Looking forward to
thank you.
To see you more and more in our sessions, and you know.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for your beautiful self, and you know, you're an amazing person. I speak so highly of you, and it's so lovely to hear about the things you are doing. So yeah, absolutely, thank you, and have the beautiful rest of the day in Philippines.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.